Welcome to another video lesson on our Python programming course. For today we are going to take a look at the for loop, which is an example of definite iteration. Now, definite iteration implies that there's a set number of times that a loop will execute and that we are usually aware what the number of iterations is going to be. Now, first off, we are going to take a look at the structure of the for loop. What is it that we expect to see when we write the code, and how does the loop execute? Now, you might remember from the while loop examples that there were some rules. First off, you need to have a loop control variable. Secondly, the variable has to be included in the condition for execution, which is part of the while loop header rather. And then finally, the loop control variable should always be incremented before the end of the while loop. Now, the for loop has the same set of rules, but it gets implemented a bit differently. For a for loop, we start off with the keyword for, and then we have our loop control variable. So for loop control variable I in a specific set of values. Now, for the basic example of the for loop, we'll be using the range keyword. So for the loop control variable in a specific range with a start value and an end value. So let's say we want to iterate from the value 1 to value 10. We include that in the range and in the loop header with the colon. Now remember the indentation for the loop body, and for interest's sake, let's just show the loop control variable by printing that to the screen. So let's execute the program and see what happens. So my program is called the for tutorial, and there we can see the execution of our loop. So the loop control variable I starts at value 1. It automatically gets incremented for each loop execution, and it goes up all the way to 9. But we actually said we wanted this to go up to 10, and this is the first pitfall that we need to provide for in using a for loop with the range. In a range, the upper bound is excluded. So if we say we want to see the range 1 to 10, the loop control variable only reaches 9. But if we change that to 11, for instance, then we can see the execution go up all the way to 10. Right, so that is the first instance that we have to look out for. Now, automatically within a specific range, we have the loop control variable that goes to the next integer value. If we start at 1, the next integer value is 2, and up to the top range excluded. Now, when we would like to change the increments, we can add a third argument to the range function, and that changes the increments with which the loop control variable changes each time that the loop executes. So let's run the program again. We should expect to see the loop control variable changing by 2, so that's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and that changes by 2. We can change this to any other given value, and that should once again change the execution. Now, we can manipulate the for loop, or rather the range, to have the loop control variable count backwards. Now, in order to do that, we will start with our initial value at the high end of the range. Now, remember the first value is included, so if we want to go from 10 down to 1, we have to go from 10 to 0 because the upper or the second argument is excluded. And then we have to change our increment to a negative value. So if we do that, save the program and execute, we see that the loop now works in reverse. So we start off at 10, count down by 1 all the way to the end, which is 0, Remember, 0 is excluded, so we only reach a point where the variable has a value of 1.